From the EPAWA headquarters in South Allentown, Pennsylvania, it's time for Weather Weeklies, an informative video of the ins and outs of weather that affect you most in the EPAWA coverage area. The following segment is a weekly video blog, and the opinions of the forecasts do not necessarily reflect the opinions of the staff of Eastern PA Weather Authority LLC as a whole, nor its constituents. Without further ado, here is meteorologist Bobby Martrich with Weather Weeklies.
And after several weeks off here, or actually 3 weeks now, we're back with Weather Weeklies while we were on vacation down in Mexico. This is now going to return on a weekly basis like it has before, and we appreciate the patience of not being with this video for a couple weeks here. So this is today's Weather Weeklies for Sunday, June 7th. We always start off with a long-range projection before we start into anything else, and this is actually updated this week here. We're actually on this day right here, obviously the 7th. We are expecting a slightly below normal day today, but this is, of course, in relation to what is considered to be normal. We actually might be pretty close to normal in some locations, but if you're only a degree or two below, which is what we're expecting here on Sunday, it's still slightly below regardless. So this is our slightly below period, but then we're looking at for the rest of June, and matter of fact, the rest of July, straight through the end of July, slightly below average, or slightly above average, slightly above average temperatures and below average precipitation. Now, this doesn't mean that every single day during that time frame is going to be above average, and it doesn't mean that every day or every week you're going to have below average precipitation. We're just saying that this period, if you take this entire period from the 4th through the 30th of June and the entire month of July, what is considered to be a monthly average for the entire month is going to be, we're expecting to have less than that, what we're forecasting for the entire month. So, the end result, you might have become like a week that is like real rainy, in other words, and then you might not have, 2 straight weeks we have absolutely nothing or very little. So that's the idea, just the entire period we're outlining it as a whole here, so we can plan maybe for vegetation purposes and things like that if you're planning things. But you might have some periods in there that go a prolonged period without any rain. But here was our June projection. This is looking at our June out, or actually our spring outlook, and this included June. We are going to be updating the summer outlook some point this week, most likely. We'll give you the outlook straight through about Labor Day or so, actually through the end of September. And this is what we had in the spring outlook that included June, because technically it doesn't start off with summer until around the 20th or 21st of this month. But we started off with a slightly above normal temperatures. We had May pegged down almost perfectly. We had went very aggressive with a very warm May, and that turned out to be the case. Once the dust settled here, and we backed off a little bit in June. And the spring outlook said it won't be quite as warm, but still above normal. We actually agree with this yet. This is still pretty close to what we're projecting. The only difference I would make right now is change this from Celsius to Fahrenheit, so it's not as dramatic of an increase. Because 1 to 2 Celsius is actually 3-4 degrees. Okay, we're expecting this area here not to be quite that high above normal. We will be above normal. We're talking about maybe +1 to +2. +1 to +2 is what we're looking at for this, pretty much the entire area for the month of June here. It would favor the interior more than the coast here, just because you have a couple of those onshore flow influences and stuff like that we've had over the past couple days here. That's one reason, but we'll keep this, change these all to Fahrenheit, and then this is still pretty close. Even though we did this back in March, this is still holding on pretty close to a projection. This is the theme for the upcoming week. Now, this is an anomaly of looking at above and below normal, what is considered to be normal, and what we're expecting to be in relation to average for this time of year. This area here in the southern part of the United States, southern plains, this is all below normal, and any of these reds here, oranges, reds, are above normal. This is well above normal here in the Pacific Northwest. Also down here in southeastern Canada, well above normal. We are slightly above normal. This is a week we're expecting to be slightly above normal. As a whole, of course, we're starting off a little bit below normal today. So today is actually skewing the mean a little bit lower, because we are expecting some very, very warm temperatures. This is going to be the theme for the upcoming week. The anomalies is going to be pretty much the same. We'll be slightly above here for the entire week as a whole, but we're going to have some days like this as we go into later in the week here, you're talking about temperatures near 90 degrees. The GFS and the European model are both very aggressive with these projected high temperatures. The only difference is the GFS is not as aggressive as early, and the GFS is aggressive past the point where the European model is. So in other words, Thursday and Friday on the European model looks pretty much like this, 90s on both days, and then Saturday it cools off and it brings a cold front in a lot faster on Friday instead of Saturday, and gives us a big cool down here on Saturday. The GFS does not. That still has this look here on Saturday, but it doesn't have it earlier on Thursday. So it has more like a Friday-Saturday thing versus a Thursday-Friday thing like the European model has. So either way, it's going to be hot at the end of the week here, but just some timing discrepancies with the long range here where that happens to be on what days. Right now we're going with all 3 days hot just because we just until they sort themselves out. I don't really see this being something that's going to end that abruptly. I think it holds through Saturday. And this is the reason why I think it's going to happen here. Let me go over to this image here. This is looking at a big ridge in the Atlantic. This is the Bermuda High. Big Bermuda High sitting out here in the Atlantic. So you got a big ridge over the top here like this. Big ridge, okay? There's a cold front that's going to attempt to move into that, but it can't go through the ridge. So with this Bermuda High sitting here, this is strong Bermuda High. So what ends up happening is this starts to fizzle, and it has to be forced up and over the ridge. Well, if it's up and over the ridge and we're under the influence of the ridge, it's not going to affect us. You might have a few isolated thunderstorms, things like that, but you're not going to get this big system to come through the ridge. It just doesn't work that way from a physics standpoint. So because of that, anything approaching will be delayed until this kicks out. And it will kick out. This will kick out, I think, later Saturday, Sunday, so which will allow this cold front to finally come through. Might have some showers and thunderstorms late in the week as a result of that, but the only storms we're going to get in the beginning of the week, and that's going to be on Monday. Now, there's some questions whether or not this will be a severe situation or not, and I will tell you it's completely predicated on what. Because it's not going to be this cold front. Here's the cold front. That's too far west. It's going to be completely predicated on a prefrontal or leeward side trough forming, and then you'd have storms theoretically firing along that boundary here. There's a couple different things. There's some things out of place. It's a very thread the needle thing here for Monday for as far as severe weather. There's a lot of different things going on in the upper levels that some are favorable, some are not. So we're going to look at this. Definitely some good instability in this area, but it's going to be predicated again on whether you get this little prefrontal trough or leeward side trough form out ahead of the cold front, because this cold front is too far to the west. So we're not going to get any severe storms with that, at least not here in our area. It's going to only be if this prefrontal trough does form out ahead of it. And you could have that happen because you're going to have some decent instability. Now, this is not mixed level Cape. This is actually just this is surface Cape, so this is not a true indication of what the instability is. So don't take these numbers for granted here. These are some pretty high numbers here, but this is not the case. This is not mixed layer Cape is the only thing you really need to worry about. But this still gives you the idea of where the best instability is. Okay, so forget about the numbers verbatim, but the best instability is going to be right here. So if you do in fact get a prefrontal trough forming, okay, and you have this prefrontal trough forming out ahead of this cold front, and it's sitting here like this, your cold front's back here with more showers and storms, right? If you get this prefrontal trough here moving east into this instability, you could definitely get some linear convection going and some stronger storms. So we'll be watching for that on Monday, and after that I think it clears out. We'll say this might hang on until Tuesday morning, or later Tuesday. You might get some partial clearing from northwest to southeast. Hopefully, maybe it might be one of those days where it lingers a little bit longer. But Wednesday, Thursday, Friday all look dry. Saturday will probably be the next day we have any chances of storms this week. And then this is the total precipitation. Model forecasted total precipitation. Looks like a lot here, but again, we only have 2 chances of storms this week. That's Monday, Monday into Tuesday, at least the first half of Tuesday. Okay, and then you have another chance either Friday or Saturday, depending on whether the GFS or European model is right. Right now, we'll side for Saturday. Just with that ridge is in place, it makes sense. But it's going to be one of those deals where you're going to have a better chance of precipitation the further north in north and central areas, northwest areas. This is involved with the thunderstorms mostly, so you can't see these amounts verbatim. but they do have the potential to produce heavy rainfall if you do get into these thunderstorms. Lesser amounts to the south. Of course, this area got a tremendous amount of rain here recently, so really don't, as far as any droughts or anything like that, I know we talked about droughts and, well, we need to start conserving water and cutting back and things like that. I don't think you have that problem anymore, at least not right now. You're pretty close to normal across the entire coverage area. This area is actually now above. So if you're saying, oh, God, we need rain down here, you might need to check your water table, so that's not the case. You got a lot of rain down here, and this is the only part of our coverage area that is significantly above normal. So everywhere else is, if it's not near normal, it's very slightly below. Not enough to cause any problems right now. I think we erased that this past week, and there was very welcome rainfall. Even though it was cloudy and dreary and kind of miserable for a couple of days, it still helped out as far as the drought's concerned in the big picture. Of course, anything we have this week with severe weather or any droughts concerns will be discussed in our weather forum. You can join this part of our My Pocket Meteorologist premium program. Just search for the My Pocket Meteorologist image right below this video on this page, and it will take you to the sign-up page of where to, or the information page of what it is exactly, with our text alerts, our daily forecast alerts, and also the premium forum where we discuss these kind of things in detail and not publicly. So if you want to take a look at that and see what you're missing out on, sign up for it. It's right below this video. You can take a look at that and sign up for it for our My Pocket Meteorologist premium program. I'm Eastern PA Weather Authority meteorologist Bobby Martrich, and that is this edition of Weather Weeklies for June 7th, 2015. Join us again next week for another edition of Weather Weeklies. Have a great one.